I have pointed out to Trump supporters when we watch Trump supporter videos where they say insane shit, I have said, if you do not support that, the easiest thing you can do to prove it is just say, I don't support that. That's not me. If you want people to think differently about you as Trump supporters, then you have to prove it through your actions and by standing up against the ones that do crazy shit like this. All right, guys. Well, the Trump administration has not even ensconced themselves firmly in the office yet, and it's already about as divisive and racist as you'd expect it to be. So we have a number of people that it seems as though have been receiving texts in the D.C., Maryland, and Virginia area that are very racist, and it's kind of like actually obscene. And just to be honest, we don't know who's doing this. This could be Russian disinformation. This could be somebody attempting to stir the pot. Or it could be full-on just Trump supporters being their amazingly racist selves. So I'm going to let you guys take a look at this video, and then we're going to talk about it a little bit.
The FBI says it is continuing to investigate racist texts being sent to people around the country, telling them that they've been selected to be slaves on plantations.
So the texts have been seen from the Northeast to the Southeast and in our area. Several local moms tell News 4 they and their children received those messages. Amy Cho is working for you with tips on what you can do to protect yourself and your family online.
When a Maryland mom checked her phone Wednesday, she'd received this shocking text.
I looked at it and it said, you've been selected to be a breeder.
She also says her daughter received multiple texts addressing her by name, telling her to report to a plantation to pick cotton.
I think that was probably the most frustrating or upsetting for my daughter, was the fact that she saw her name. So we had to have a conversation about people are doing this to make you afraid.
Regardless of where this is coming from, it's not okay, obviously. So let's take a look at also. This is a friend of mine on YouTube, a guy that creates content, a hip hop artist named King Dada, and this is what actually brought it to my attention was one of his community posts. So shout out King Dada. Says, so this number sent several texts to black kids yesterday in my city. It says, you've been selected to pick cotton at the nearest plantation. Be ready at 12 a.m. November 13th sharp with your belongings. Our executive slaves will come get you in a brown van to be prepared to be searched down once you've entered the plantation. Another community post that Dada had posted was something from The Breakfast Club. Those of you who know who Charlemagne the God is, he is a host of The Breakfast Club, and they had a couple things that they had to say about this as well.
Arias Donkey today for Friday, November 8th goes to whoever is sending out these racist text messages referencing slavery. Now, if you haven't heard, all day yesterday in black group chats across America, texts were being shared, and it was text messages that folks were receiving that were telling Negroes, report to your nearest plantation. I'm not making this up. Yesterday, I had quite a few people hit me up concerned because they were receiving text messages like this. Good evening, Isaiah. You have been selected to become a slave patient at your nearest plantation. Please be clean and ready by 3 a.m. tomorrow. No need to bring essentials nor clothes, as you will be handed worker clothes. You will be picked up in a white van by a Trump representative. After escorted, you will be stripped and D'd down upon arrival. Don't cooperate, belt the ass, and lynched immediately. Your name will further be erased and given a number. Your number is Slave 5, and you'll be a part of Slave C group. Thank you. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. When I first read this, I said to myself, people play too much. And I'm not even sure this is a white person because I've never heard a white person say belt the ass. But if this week's election showed us anything, it's that we can't assume what certain racial groups do anymore. But
yeah, and what he said there is very important to keep in mind at this point. You know, it could be people just being divisive, trying to cause problems. It could be Russian propaganda, even though it seems a little bit weird to be Russian propaganda. It's a little bit specific to the black community, some of the language that's being used here. So there's a little bit that they played from a person here. This is I think it's like an ABC or a NBC video of a mom talking about the text message her daughter had received.
Got these messages are black. For recipients like Corinne Freeman, the digital hate is fueling her real-world concerns.
I am overwhelmed with anxiety and fear about how I'm going to help my children make sense of the world that they have to navigate as Black children.
Yeah, and for anybody out there that's just going, well, this is just trolling, it's just somebody having a good time, there's real-world repercussions to this kind of stuff. These are kids that are receiving these text messages. These are women that are receiving these text messages. This is just the kind of thing that is just completely unnecessary, and it seems like our culture has become more and more okay with people just fucking with other people because they're like, hey, you know what? So what? You didn't get the joke. Ha, ha, ha. It was really funny. But this is the kind of stuff that like causes people fear. These kids have to go to school. They don't know who sent these messages. They don't know. A lot of these messages have their name in it, so they don't know. Does this person know who they are? Is it somebody in their friend group that got a hold of their information? Is it somebody that hates them? Is it somebody that might come to school and hurt them? You know, this is the kind of thing that just shouldn't exist in our society, and it's the kind of thing that Trump supporters tend to just brush off. Oh, you're just overreacting. You're just being really sensitive. Somebody just having a good time. And this is the kind of stuff that needs to be taken seriously. I have a clip here that I wanted to show you.
Let's just assume these are Trump supporters. Let's just assume these are conservatives. Answer me this one question. Why do you want to prove people right? Donald Trump won. He is going to be the 47th president of the United States of America. He won fair and square. Looks like he won the popular vote, the Electoral College. Republicans won the Senate. You might win the House. America made a choice. The last thing any of you all should be doing is proving all your critics right. Okay, so many different people say the only reason Trump won is because America's a racist country. Huffington Post said Trump ran the most racist campaign in modern history and he won. So many people say all Trump supporters are bigots and racists. Why are you idiots proving them right? Now, mind you, I know these folks are playing, but if you are a Trump supporter, you should denounce this, unless, of course, you don't care, unless, of course, you agree with whatever the text is saying. But the real moral of the story is this is exactly the opposite of what I told you all should happen.
Yeah, and exactly. Right there, that's the point. If you're a Trump supporter and this is something that you're being accused of, it's not enough to just say, hey, I'm not with that. It's you need to stand up and say, if anybody is doing this, that's not okay. Trump supporters want to talk about, you know, how divisive Joe Biden was, which is insane. But just forget that. If you want to believe that Donald Trump is some kind of great uniter that's going to bring us all together, then you need to denounce this kind of thing that's happening. You need to say, hey, I hope that that's not a Trump supporter that did that, but if it is, that doesn't represent me. That's something that we've been talking about on this channel forever, and that is, I have pointed out to Trump supporters when we watch Trump supporter videos where they say insane shit, I have said, if you do not support that, the easiest thing you can do to prove it is just say, I don't support that. That's not me. If you want people to think differently about you as Trump supporters, then you have to prove it through your actions and by standing up against the ones that do crazy shit like this. And finally, we have one more video here, or one more portion of this clip, where Charlemagne speaks to Trump supporters and kind of tells him what he thinks about this.
Okay, so listen, I just want to tell all Trump supporters, everyone who voted for Trump, if you really dislike liberals, if you really don't like Democrats and their woke ideologies, then simply do one thing. Prove them wrong by not doing dumbass, cheap-ass, racist-ass stunts like this.
Let me just say this. Look, every one of us that didn't vote for Donald Trump didn't vote for Donald Trump because we think that he's going to be a terrible president. We think he's going to be a divisive asshole, and we think that he's going to do things that are bad for America and bad for Americans. So the biggest own of the liberals that you could possibly do is support Donald Trump in being a good person. You should, in many ways, try to motivate him to actually do well for the country. So that way, hey, you own the libs. Help with women's rights. You'll own the libs. Help get people, you know, social safety nets and make life better. Help improve the economy. You'll own the libs. At the end of the day, if we get to the end of this 4 years and you've owned me by showing me that Donald Trump actually is a great president, in fact, the greatest president of all time, then okay, all right, you got me. All right, guys. Well, you guys let me know what you think about this. There's obviously already been some hate pushed towards women, where men are saying things like, your body, my choice. You've got these text messages that are obviously being sent out to specifically African Americans, and it seems like it's mostly on the East Coast. And it just seems like we haven't even gotten to January yet, and we're already starting with this. Do you think it's just Russians trying to cause more divisiveness amongst us? Do you think it's some 4chan dipshit that's just having a good time and trolling America? Or do you think that these are really just Trump supporters and this is the racist shit that they believe? You let me know in the comments. I know what I think, and that is, we live in a day and age right now where you can't determine what anything is. And so the best thing you can do is lead by example and show people that you're a good person. All right, guys. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. And I hope to see you next time.